Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Murray Powell. Live in Toronto, East End, and my vision loss came at birth. I was born 3.5 months too early. I was 1 pound 7 ounces, and they call it retinitis prematurity because what happens is, what used to happen is when you were born with such an early stage of the pregnancy, they would put you in a little oxygen tent with oxygen and pure oxygen, and so they didn't at the time know what the effects would be, and so my eyes were damaged. However, I did have a little bit, and I still have a little bit of sight, just enough to get me into trouble. My travels around Toronto, I've been traveling in Toronto for quite a few years. I'm fairly familiar with the subway system and the bus system in many areas of Toronto. However, there are a lot of obstacles which each of us who has limited sight or no sight face every day. Not only the question of light standards and poles and things like that, and even those little square metal ones that if you hit them, they rock back and forth. But also, of course, planters, especially downtown where they have the cement planters for trees and so on. Benches that stick out, fire hydrants that they love to put almost in the middle of the sidewalk in some cases, which is a real great thing for your knees. And then, of course, the transit system has its own set of perils. You know, the steps are sometimes precarious. At one time, a few years ago, I actually fell into the subway at Bay and Bloor and sustained some injuries. So the BuzzClip experience, we just did several different tests with the BuzzClip, identifying objects like poles, trees, signs, overhead obstacles like tree branches, park benches, things like that. My experience was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I found that the BuzzClip is pretty accurate. It has 3 distance settings. And I think the advantage to that is that when you're outdoors, it may be useful to have it on the longest range, which is 3 meters. Whereas if you're in a smaller proximity to things, 2 would be good. And at home, you probably just have 1 if you need it at home at all. Where it's very close by and corridors would probably be good enough for a 1 meter. I found it very useful. I think it takes time to get used to because you have to get used to the touch and sensitivity of it. However, one of my biggest thrills was sitting on a bench and everybody walked by and it went, and I love that. So that was great. I'd highly recommend people to check this out and obtain it, because I think it's just one more tool in the arsenal of equipment and things that people with limited sight or no sight can use to make their navigation and accessibility more improved for them.